Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in today's initiative we're going to make lasagna. Okay, so we have our minced beef. Okay, we have our pre-cooked lasagna. We have our tomato sauce. We have our pesto. We have our Parmesan cheese. We have our cheese for our cheese sauce. We have our milk. We have our mushrooms. We have our peppers. We have our onions, our garlic, our scallions, cucumber, lettuce leaves, peppers and tomatoes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a homemade lasagna, okay, with some baby potatoes and a nice side salad. Okay, so we're going to get started now on prepping up all our vegetables for all our items and ingredients for our lasagna. Okay, so here we are. We have our garlic peeled, and we have our onions peeled, and we have our peppers halved, and we've taken all the pips out of our peppers. Our mushrooms are washed. Our potatoes are in a pot and ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to crush our garlic. We're going to finely dice our red onions. We're going to dice our peppers, our yellow peppers, our green peppers, and our red peppers. Okay, so we're going to hold back some of the peppers for our salad. So all these ingredients here are all going to go into the sauce: the onions, the garlic, and the mushrooms, and the peppers. Okay, so we're going to start dicing up our vegetables for our bolognese, and then we're going to start prepping up our vegetables for our salad. Okay, so here we are. We've started our prep up now for with all our vegetables and salad for the bolognese and for the side salad. So on this board we have our garlic crushed. We have our peppers diced, yellow, red and green. We have our onions diced, and we have our mushrooms sliced. So these are going to be the ingredients for the bolognese sauce. And we have our onion peeled, and that is going to go into our white sauce, which will become our cheese sauce for the lasagna. And then we have our salad. We have our scallions chopped. We have our cherry tomatoes quartered, and we have our cucumber quartered and sliced, and we have some peppers diced, and we have our mixed leaves. So this is going to be our Italian salad for which is going to accompany the bolognese. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we're going to start the cooking process in relation to our lasagna with all the various different ingredients that need to be cooked. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add some olive oil into our preheated pot. Okay, so just some olive oil, and what we're going to do is now we're going to start sealing off our minced beef. Okay, so we're going to start sealing off, frying off our mince. Okay, so we're just going to give it a good stir. It's very important to give it a good stir. Okay, we're going to add our garlic into our mince, and we're going to let the mince cook away. Okay, so as you can see there, our mince is starting to colour away, and we've added in some black pepper for some season, and we've also got some pink Himalayan salt. So we're going to add in some salt. Okay, so it's very important to just keep stirring the mince. Okay, just so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot or it doesn't burn, and we want it all nice and brown kind of in colour. Okay, so we're letting our mince cook away there, probably another 5 minutes, and then we'll start putting the sauce together. As you can see there, our mince is cooking away nicely. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add in our onions, our peppers, and our mushrooms into the minced beef. As you can see, we've just added in our mushrooms, our onions, and our peppers into the minced beef. So we're just going to stir that, give it a good stir, and let everything cook out for the next 5 to 10 minutes. You can see here our mince and our vegetables are starting to cook out. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add a tablespoon of pesto to a teaspoon of pesto to the mince now. So we have our teaspoon of pesto, and pesto is basically made up of garlic, herbs, and olive oil. So it's lovely for flavouring Italian dishes. Okay, so we're just going to put a teaspoon full of pesto in. We're going to give it another stir, and we're just going to let it cook out just for another couple of minutes. So as you can see, we're just coming back to the mince and the vegetables cooking away there. So what we're going to do is now we're going to add our sauce, our dolmio sauce. Okay, so we're just going to pour it in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to give it a good stir. Okay, so our bolognese sauce is starting to come together now. So this would be our mix for our lasagna. So, you know, we're not too far off the bolognese sauce being ready to make our lasagna. Okay, so we just give that a good stir, and we just let that cook away for another 10 minutes. Okay. So there we go. After 25 to 30 minutes cooking, our bolognese sauce is ready. You can see all the lovely colours there of the vegetables, the peppers, the onions, the mushrooms, and the mince, and the lovely tomato sauce. Okay, so our bolognese, we're just going to leave it to one side just to simmer, and what we're going to do is then we're going to make our white sauce, which is going to be our cheese sauce for the top of the lasagna. Okay, so the next step is we have our potatoes washed and ready. We put some salt and pepper on our potatoes, so we're just going to add some boiling water onto our potatoes. Just going to fill them up, just cover the potatoes, and then we're going to light the gas underneath our potatoes. So we're going to bring our potatoes to the boil, and then when they come to the boil, we're going to simmer, put the potatoes on simmer, and we're just going to put a lid on the potatoes. Okay, so the next stage now is we're going to make our white cheese sauce. Okay, the next step now is we're going to make our white sauce. So a good idea before you put the milk into the pot is to put a drop of boiling water in, so that the milk doesn't stick to the pot, okay, or it doesn't burn. So what we're going to do is here we've a pint of milk. Okay, so we're going to use a pint and a half of milk. Okay, so we have a pint glass, so we've used a pint and a half, a glass and a half of milk, so a pint and a half of milk. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some pepper into the milk. Okay, we're going to add some salt. Okay, and then we're going to add in our onion. Okay, so we're going to bring our milk to the boil, and you have to be very careful of this, because if you don't watch the milk could boil over and burn, and we don't want that. Okay, so we just want the milk to come to the boil. So we're going to capture the flavour of the onion and the salt and pepper in the milk. Okay, so we're just going to bring the milk to the boil. So in the meantime, while we're waiting on the milk to boil, we're going to make what they call a Swiss roux to thicken up the cheese or the white or cheese sauce. So we're just going to put some olive oil in a bowl. Okay, we have about 2 tablespoons of flour, white, just plain white flour. Okay, we're going to give that a stir. This is going to be the thickening agent for the white sauce. It's what they call a Swiss roux. Okay, so that's our roux. As soon as our milk comes to the boil, we will add our Swiss roux to the milk in order to thicken it to make a sauce. So there we go. Our sauce is after thickening. You can see there on the back of the wooden spoon that the sauce is after thickening. So how we know it's thick enough, if you grab a teaspoon and you just go through the middle, and the channel comes between which separates down the middle, you know that your sauce is thick enough. So what we're going to do is now we're going to remove the onion out of the sauce. Okay, we've got all the flavour out of the onion that we need to get. Our sauce is of a lovely consistency. That's just the way we want it. We're going to add some Parmesan cheese now to the sauce. Okay, sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. Okay, I'm just going to give that a good stir in. Okay, we're going to turn off the heat completely underneath our sauce because we don't want it to burn. So we're also going to add some cheddar cheese, 2 tablespoons, or maybe 3 tablespoons of cheddar cheese. Okay, so we're just going to stir that in. So there we see it. That's our cheese sauce. So our cheese sauce is ready. Our bolognese is ready. So what we're going to do is now we're going to start putting the lasagna together now. So as I said earlier on, it's very important that you get the right lasagna. So on the box, on this brand, it's called Barilla. You can see there's 20 pieces of lasagna, and it says no pre-cooking. So this is the best lasagna to get. It means that you don't have to pre-cook it. So this is already cooked. So all you have to do is just place this lasagna into the dish. Okay, so that would be the best lasagna to get. Just look at the bottom of the package, which would say no pre-cooking. Okay, so everything is ready now for the start putting the lasagna together. We have our sauce, our bolognese sauce, we have our cheese sauce, we have our lasagna, and we have our cheese. Okay, so what we normally do is we would normally start off by putting a layer of bolognese sauce on the bottom, to start off with a layer of bolognese sauce on the bottom of the dish. Okay, so we're just going to put some of the bolognese into the dish, and we're just going to spread it out. Okay, just like so. Okay, put a tiny little bit in there. Okay, to make sure it's even. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start placing pieces of lasagna onto the mince. Okay. So in some cases we might have to break the lasagna just to get it to fit into the positions. Okay, so we're putting the lasagna together. Okay, so that's the base, okay, of the lasagna. We're going to put the rest of the lasagna now on top of the sheets of lasagna that we've put in place there. Okay. So same situation, we're going to make sure we get it all out of the pot, and and then we're going to spread it evenly over the dish. So as you can see there, that's our second layer of bolognese sauce. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to place some more lasagna sheets on top of the lasagna. Okay, so again, we might have to break pieces of the lasagna just to make sure that it doesn't overlap, because we want the lasagna to cook out. Okay, so we're just going to patch up the sides here with some pieces that we have cut earlier. All right, so our lasagna is all patched up here. So we've a layer of mince, a layer of lasagna, a layer of mince, and a layer of lasagna. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to pour our cheese sauce over our lasagna. Okay, so we want the cheese sauce to settle over the lasagna, to spread out evenly. Okay, just to let it set there. Okay, so we have our cheese sauce all spread out over lasagna, and then the next thing to do to finish off is to sprinkle some cheese over the cheese sauce, just to give it a nice layer or a nice finish of cheese on top. Okay, so this is what our lasagna looks like before it goes into the oven. So again, we've a layer of mince, a layer of lasagna, a layer of mince, a layer of lasagna, and then we pour our white sauce, our cheese sauce, in on top of the last layer of lasagna, and we've added in the cheese. Okay, so this lasagna now is ready for the oven. So it's probably going to take about 25 to 30 minutes for this lasagna to cook out in the oven. So there we go, our lasagna is placed in a moderate heated oven, and it's going to cook out nice and gently for the next 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, again, just keep an eye on the lasagna that it doesn't overcook or it doesn't burn. So within the next 20 to 25 to 30 minutes we should have a lovely lasagna. Okay, so in the meantime, while our lasagna is in the oven, we've strained our potatoes. Okay, so our potatoes are more or less par cooked. Okay, we're going to add our potatoes, strained potatoes, into a dish here. Okay, we're going to add some salt, and we're going to add some pepper. Okay, so what we're also going to do is we're going to add some olive oil, and we're going to place the potatoes in the oven. Just a tiny dribble of olive oil. We're going to give the potatoes a good stir up. Okay, and we're going to place the potatoes in the oven alongside our lasagna to cook out for 10 minutes. Here we go, our potatoes are going into the oven to cook alongside our lasagna. Our lasagna is starting to cook out, starting to set. So the timing of everything is very important, so everything is starting to come together again. Now is to put the salad together. So while the lasagna and the potatoes are in the oven, we're going to put our salad together. Okay, so we're going to put a dribble of olive oil. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we're going to put a tablespoon of pesto in. We're going to make our salad dressing, and we're going to start putting everything together now in relation to the salad. We have our leaves, we have our peppers, and we have our mixture of scallions, tomatoes, and cucumber. Here's our dressing, our olive oil and our pesto. We have our peppers, our mixed peppers, diced mixed peppers, so we're going to add them in. Okay, we're also going to add in our onion, our scallions, our tomatoes, and our cucumber into the bowl. Okay, so we're going to toss that around and we're going to make the salad. So as you can see here, we've added in all our ingredients, our tomatoes, our scallions, our chopped peppers, and our cucumber and our tomatoes to our mixed leaves. So we have our Italian dressing now, which is the olive oil and the pesto. So we're just going to add that into the salad, okay, and we're going to give it a stir. So this salad now is more or less ready for serving. So we're just waiting on the lasagna and the potatoes to cook away. You can see there our potatoes are cooked and the lasagna has coloured well and is more or less cooked. So we're going to take our potatoes and our lasagna out of the oven, and we're going to let our lasagna relax for about 10 minutes before we serve it. Here we go, there's our lasagna is cooked. We're just going to let our lasagna relax there on the cooker. Our potatoes are cooked. We're just adding some chopped chives to our potatoes. You can see they're nice and golden, and then we have our salad as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting our lasagna together on the plate. So our lasagna into portions. We're after using an egg slice just to place the lasagna on a plate. What we're going to do is now we're just going to add some potatoes to the side of the dish, okay, and then we're going to put some salad to the side, to the side of lasagna, okay. So there we go. There's a lovely Italian dish. We have our homemade lasagna, we have our potatoes, and we have our side salad. So we're just going to put a sprinkle of chives there on it, just to give it a little bit of colour, and we have a lovely lasagna, potatoes and side salad.